Hello, property nomads. Hope you're well. Today, we're going to be looking at Rishi Sunak again and the fact that he's blaming the governor of the Bank of England, Andrew Bailey, and Bank of England for high interest rates. He demands that the bank do something about it, which, in all fairness, is completely laughable because he should have done a lot more about this a little while ago. We'll dive into that in a minute, but just to let you know that if you are looking to start a podcast, increase your audience, you've got a podcast already, you want to increase your audience, and just want some generic hints, tips, everything to do with podcasts, then our friends at Progressive Property are hosting the Podcast Movement Evolution 2023 Podcasting Secrets. It's Wednesday the 28th to Thursday the 29th of June. Starts at 12 p.m. on Wednesday the 28th. It's completely free to attend. It's done via Zoom, so you can just do it from the comfort of your own home, comfort of your own desk. You're going to be hearing from an industry keynote speaker, someone that's trained over 1,000 podcasters, host of the world's largest podcast mastermind, head of growth at UK's largest podcast agency, and host of an international #1 podcast as well. So plenty to learn, completely free to attend. That's how we got started. We highly recommend you get started the same way as well. The link to that is in the show notes. If you're on YouTube, it's just in the description below. Right, back to Rishi Sunak and back to him blaming the Bank of England. I mean, this is so laughable, it's unbelievable. And the reason I say that is it's almost like people don't expect what's happening. People have been completely taken by surprise by inflation and all government policies and reactions over the last 3 or 4 years have been catastrophic, to keep it YouTube friendly. And this is where we are now. Just the hypocrisy of him blaming Bank of England governor when he could have done something about it himself when he was Exchequer, it is beyond me. But hey, I guess you've got to be seen to be doing something nowadays. Let's go through the article. Articles come via the Choreograph, or the Telegraph as you might otherwise know it. The unexpectedly strong wage growth data prompted traders to once again revise up forecasts for a peak of interest rates. Government borrowing costs high since 2008. That's obviously not good either. It gets more laughable when the governor of the Bank of England, Andrew Bailey, said he was poised to launch a review into why the central bank had been so wrong-footed by inflation. He admitted that price rises were taking a lot longer than we expected to return to the bank's 2% target. Well, let's have a look. It's similar to people that report on the Fed and people that say that inflation is transitory. No, absolutely not. When a pandemic comes along or a black swan event comes along and everyone's locked down, and the government reaction, no matter what country you're in, the government reaction is, right, tell the central bank, print, 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 print. And no one's out working. What happens then? Well, the amount of supply currency units has increased significantly, but the demand, i.e. same level of goods and services, that either remains the same. A 3-year-old could tell you prices are going to go up. Now, on top of that, because of NATO expansion and prodding Russia as well, Russia has reacted by invading Ukraine. Now, that hasn't necessarily helped the situation at all. But on top of that, what happens is that the government, and again, the government, decide, hey, hang on a minute. Yeah, we're just going to ban oligarchs, seize assets. Yeah, let's ban some Russian oil as well. In fact, no, let's ban, sulfates, nitrates. Let's just ban anything Russian. Well, unfortunately, Russia is a wonderful source of energy. It really is. It has resource abundance out of the things that people need around the world. So banning that means that it's more difficult for farmers to get phosphates for their farms. So their cost of production goes up. If the cost of production goes up for the farmer, then there's only so much that they can do before they start passing those rising costs onto consumers, i.e. you and I. This is what happens. So it's easy then to blame the farmers and go, well, you're charging too much, blah, 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 blah. There's probably a lot behind the scenes we don't know about that's quite dangerous. But the point being, it's government reaction and government intervention that has caused this. Okay, yes, it does not help when Governor of the Bank of England has admitted that price rises were taking a lot longer than we expected in order to get inflation back down to 2%. I would argue that if you just study history and study what's come before us, why things have happened, well, maybe it's a black swan event, maybe it's plagues, maybe, you know, it could be drought, crop failure, whatever it might be. If you increase the currency supply too much too quickly and there's no change to demand for goods and services, or you've got people producing less goods and services, you're going to get chronic inflation, and it's going to stay here for a while. And in order to combat that, most people think nowadays, well, we can just change the interest rate up, down, up, down, up, down. In this case, up, 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 and that'll get rid of the issue. No, not really. It won't. Government have got to stop spending. They've got to increase their revenues as well, but certainly stop the spending is the key thing. And also allow the free market to do what the free market needs to do. Don't keep, stop banning resources, stop doing all this crazy stuff. It doesn't help that Sunak is pretty much a disciple of Davos. That really doesn't help either. So he's bowing to the whims of the World Economic Forum. You will own nothing and you will be happy by 2030. At some point, how much benefit of the doubt can we give politicians? I'd argue not much, purely because we've got to look at this and go, is something bigger at play happening in the background? And, us tinfoil hatters and myself definitely included in that, we've been proven right over the last few years. Then on the flip side, you've got to look at things and go, well, okay, if we're not going to give them benefit of the doubt and there's not, this greater evil behind the scenes, then really it's our chief governor of the Bank of England and is our prime minister. Are they just that thick? That's a very good question. And I'd be inclined to argue that no, they're not thick at all, but maybe they're just not thinking about this logically. And again, it's better to be seen to do something than not. Going through the article, a couple of things. There's a few things on here about mortgages, but I'm not going to pay attention to that because Mark Champ of Wolf Financial is back on the podcast. So in the next episode, when that's out, Mark is back on, so we will be going through mortgages. So I won't go through all the mortgages. All you need to know, Bank of England, when they next meet in June, are more than likely going to increase from 4.5%, either to 4.75 or 5% base rate, one of the two. But yeah, in a nutshell, it's looking quite bleak. We've been saying this for a little while. Buy-to-let profits for landlords are also down to the lowest level. We'll be doing a separate video on that. So keep your eyes out on YouTube because there's a lot of chaos going on there in the markets. And this other quote made me laugh reading through it. Mr. Bailey told a committee in the House of Lords, quote, "I do think we have moved into an era where we have had very big supply shocks operating on the economy and on inflation," end quote. No shit. Wow, thank you. That is mind-bogglingly, you've just really opened my eyes and you can tell my sarcasm. I should give him more benefit of the doubt. Yes, of course, we moved into an era where we've had very big supply shocks. The reason for that is because government have affected the supply shocks. It's not you and I going about our business. It's government that have said, no, ban this, ban that. We're not doing this, we're not doing that. Hello, electric vehicles for everyone. Really bad energy policy. We've got windfall tax here. Don't worry about oil and gas. Solar's going to save us. All of that nonsense. That's where your supply shocks have come from. That is why we have what we have. It's a mixture of all these things over the last 3 or 4 years. The thing is, supply side issues on this level take years to fix. Now, we can start by making decisions today and helping ourselves today. These things take years to fix. And ultimately, when we get a Labour government in 2024, it's going to be up to them to fix. And yeah, don't hold your breath on that. So yeah, I could go on all day about this, to be honest with you. But in a nutshell, Sunak has ordered banks to protect borrowers from surging mortgage rates. What he does realise or doesn't realise, I haven't quite figured it out yet. He's also blamed the governor of the Bank of England, Andrew Bailey, for this. Really, he should blame himself. Our government should blame themselves for leading us down the path of where we are now. It's not healthy. We're not in a healthy position. We're not going to be in a healthy position moving forward. That's the reality of it. This is why you have to take time to protect yourself, your friends, your business, your family, whatever it is, and try and get out of the system as best as you can. This is why we talk about gold. This is why we talk about silver. I mean, there's a multitude of other things out there. There is property, there's trading, you name it. There are things that you can do in order to protect yourself moving forward, because this is just, it's utter nonsense at the end of the day. And for those people that think our interest rates are just going to go down, I'm not too convinced on that, but we'll cover that in another video. As usual, thank you very much for listening. Please do share Property Nomads with as many people as you can. Do like and subscribe to the podcast. If you're on YouTube, please press that bell to get notifications of when new videos come out. We're trying to put out as much new content as possible. We've got to get our message spread out there, because we know it helps you, it helps us, it helps everyone. But the more people we can help, the better that is for everyone moving forward. So please do spread the word of Property Nomads. And until next time, hasta luego.